The 4'11 Texas native excels in the all-around for Coach Steve Shepard, who will have to pull out all his tricks against a talented Ohio State squad. The Buckeyes, the Big Ten leader in the all-around, Rebecca Best, who describes herself as Superfly. Ohio State's coach, Carrie Fagan, has a Buckeye squad on the rise, and the meet's at home here in Columbus. Meanwhile, Penn State's Casey Sandy has put up big numbers in every event. The Canadian native has improved his routine week to week. For Coach Randy Jepson, who says he still gets excited to watch Casey perform. The Buckeyes might be lacking in depth, but not in heart. Jason Bateman, second in the Big Ten, seventh in the USA on the parallel bars. And Miles Avery, who has an uphill climb as coach, but he's got some studs and home court, if you will, here at historic St. John Arena. What an afternoon we've got here in Columbus, Ohio, on this magnificent campus of Ohio State University. An exciting quad meet, the Nittany Lions of Penn State and the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Hi again, everybody, and welcome. Along with our three-time Olympian friend, John Roethlisberger, we'd like to say welcome. We've got two teams that have really, as John knows, have been the benchmark, if you will, in men's and women's gymnastics throughout the last decade. No question about that. But two schools that have gone at each other. Great rivalry, of course, in the conference and nationally, football and basketball. So a lot more at stake for recruiting, for bragging rights. We talk about the Penn State gymnastics program. They've got some new challenges they haven't faced for a while.
They do, especially on the women's side. Coach Steve Shepard has got no upperclassmen competing tonight. In college athletics, if you're one of the top teams in the nation, that is unheard of. So he has a challenge in that respect, but he is led by an outstanding gymnast, Brandy Personette. She is an amazing all-arounder, and she's also ranked third in the nation on the floor exercise. On the men's side, Randy Jepson is picking up right where he left off last year. They are the defending NCAA champions, and in Happy Valley, they are singing "Oh Canada" because they are led by a Canadian, Casey Sandy, who is #1 in the nation in the all-around. He has no weaknesses, and he wants to bring Penn State back to the promised land in an NCAA championship.
Usually when you hear "Oh Canada," you're getting ready to drop the puck for Big Ten hockey. Let's talk about the Buckeyes of Ohio State. It's ironic, I think, because it's almost the exact opposite of what the Nittany Lions are facing. For the Buckeyes, a women's program on the rise, a men's program, to be honest, lacking some depth.
Yeah, for Ohio State women, they are led, ironically, their coach, Carrie Fagan, is a Penn State Nittany Lion gymnast. She's gone to Ohio State, and she has done amazing things with this team over the last few years. They are on the cusp of being one of the top teams in the nation. They are so very close. Ironically, led by a freshman, Rebecca Best, and she is the top-ranked all-arounder in the Big Ten Conference, and she wants to bring Ohio State that much-desired Big Ten championship. On the men's side, ironically, they have some new challenges. Miles Avery and his team are the defending Big Ten champions, but they have had a lot of injuries this year. They do not have the depth that they've had in the past, unfortunately, but amidst that difficulty is opportunity, and Jake Bateman, their junior, one of their three captains, has looked at it as an opportunity to step up and be a leader and get Ohio State back to the top.
So John's ready. Our Big Ten Network cameras are ready. The Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions, they're beyond ready. The kids are anxious to perform. Little Out the Pep Band is ready. So stick around. It's a quad meet from Columbus on the Big Ten Network coming up next.
About what's best for the team and putting up the best 6 kids on each event for this week. Got it?
Come on, Bucks.
Get it, Bucks! Go Bucks on 3. 1, 2, 3, go Bucks!
You'll see those Lady Buckeyes, the Lady Wolverines, the Penn State Nittany Lions, and a whole lot more. The Women's Big Ten Championships right here on the Big Ten Network. Mark it down from Ann Arbor on April 3rd, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Meanwhile, the men will be live from State College. Mark that one down, April 4th and 5th, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock in the Central Time Zone. Men's rotation for Penn State and the Nittany Lions. Jason Shue will get things going. First up on the pommel horse, then the floor, the vault, the rings, the horizontal bar, and you won't want to miss the parallel bars. For the Buckeyes of Ohio State and their rotation, Jahar Tall kicks things off on the floor exercise. He'll also be a key on the rings, and you won't want to miss the horizontal bars. First up for the Buckeyes on the floor, the young man, the sophomore, who started gymnastics at the age of 6 back in Israel, Shahar Tal.
And this is critical for Ohio State. Their best events are floor and pommel horse. And if they're going to give Penn State a run, they've got to hit these two. And it starts with this guy right here. And unfortunately, that is going to be at least a medium deduction on that first pass. Not the way you want to start. Nice combination pass. And you're going to see a lot of those on floor exercise. Those consecutive flipping skills are worth a lot of bonus.
And John, with that early error, it puts a lot of pressure on the teammates right off the bat.
It does, and that's the thing. You know, usually if a team hits, you're not going to count the scores of the first 1 or 2 athletes up. But it is so critical because they set the stage for everyone that comes after them. You don't want to put extra pressure on your teammates at the end and, you know, make them feel like they have to hit or it's going to cost their team significantly. So that is a compounding error, that early mistake that Tal made. And this routine does not have a lot of difficulty. It's a fairly stock routine. It should be one of those routines that kind of just breaks the ice for Ohio State and gets them rolling. Two and a half twist dismount again. That's going to be a medium deduction on that step at the end, but not exactly the way Ohio State wanted to start, but not a major fall, but they're going to have to build that.
A shaky beginning for the Buckeyes.
Here's another look at the end here. This is a one flip with 2.5 twists. It's a blind landing, which makes it incredibly difficult. And that step to the side could be as much as a 3/10 deduction. Not a superb start for Ohio State.
A wobbly beginning for the international business major, Shahar Tal. John, first up on the horse for the Nittany Lions, a man that's been struggling with injuries on the road to recovery, 5'10", the sophomore Jason Chu.
And I know Randy Jepson, the head coach from Penn State, is thrilled to get this guy back because he has got so much potential to help their team. And again, these early routines are critical.
This is Jason's favorite event out of St. John Bosco High School in L.A.
And you can see that work on one pommel is very, very difficult, worth a ton of points to that start value. This is a very good routine, a good start for Penn State so far. Little trouble on that dismount, but a good start for the Nittany Lions. Kind of the way you want to go on pommel horse, one of those events where it's easy to fall.
A bemused grin for the young man that after gymnastics would like to become a professional race driver or an actor.
So did I, actually. Here's another look at the end of this routine. You can see where he has a little bit of trouble here right at the end of this pirouette. Bends his arms and almost doesn't make that turnaround, and that's critical because that's worth a lot of points as well.
A little trouble on the dismount for Jason Chu from L.A. Justin Myers, the sophomore out of Hinckley, Ohio, for the Buckeyes now on the floor.
And he starts with a big skill. It's called the Thomas. It's named after one of the greatest American gymnasts ever, Kurt Thomas. It's 1.5 twists and 1 3/4 flip. Very difficult. Unfortunately, lands out of bounds. Anytime you see their feet on that white, on that border of the floor, that is going to be a deduction.
John, do you know where you're in mid-flight if you're going to miss the mat?
You know, you have a pretty good idea. You've done it so many times, and you know by the feel of the flip where you're going to be. Great dismount, Arabian double front. We saw that earlier as a mount. Incredibly difficult dismount. Good job for Myers.
Out of Highland High School, where his coach was Greg Gannon.
Taking another look at the dismount right here. There's a half twist and a double front. And as we talked about before, those forward landings, incredibly difficult. Does that one almost perfect.
Justin, who started gymnastics back when he was just 1. Derek's got to work on his upper body, don't you think?
Yeah, he's looking a little wimpy there, man. He needs to hit the weight room or something.
The senior, Derek Helsby, 22 years of age, as of March the 1st, as in 6 days from now, for the 5'4" senior for Penn State.
And I'm going to show you a skill that's very valuable on horse that Derek does. And we talked about being on that one pommel. And he does this early in his routine. And it's absolutely critical that he hits it and hits it well if he's going to score big. Right here, he steps up on the one pommel. And watch how long he stays up there. Incredibly difficult. Some small form breaks, but look at that. That is outstanding Outstanding work from the senior, and just as I say it, I jinx him, and he falls on the Russian walk-around, unfortunately. Two guys now that have looked phenomenal early in the routine, and again, you cannot get even the slightest bit off on this event.
John, when you say some small form errors, right, to the folks at home, they can't see it. What are you seeing that they should look for?
Well, pretty much on any event in the sport of gymnastics, your legs need to be straight, they need to be together, and your toes need to be pointed. Any deviation from that is at least a small error, and sometimes you're going to see obvious ones when your legs come far apart or your knees bend quite a bit. But again, they add up. You can see his feet just slip it ever so slightly on those circles. The judges will see that. Good finish. Unfortunately, the last two Nittany Lions poised to go big have a major break.
Helsby, who also had some good experience in the summer at the World University Games, where he won a bronze medal in the pommel horse against the world's elite.
Well, unfortunately, this won't be a bronze medal performance today. Another look at the fall right there, and you almost saw his hand slip as well. Too bad.
John Roethlisberger talked about it. Oh, Canada, from Brampton, Ontario, north of the border. Great competitor in the all-around, the 23-year-old junior, Casey Sandy.
And we're going to see exactly what this kid is made of right here. He is following two falls from his teammates, and they cannot afford to have another mistake because then it goes to the bottom line of their team score. And again, disaster, absolute total disaster for Penn State. Conversely, Ohio State has got to be chomping at the bit. This is an opportunity for them.
Does one teammate inadvertently put pressure on another? I mean, we've seen now 3 errors in a row.
You know what? It shouldn't be this way, but missing is contagious. It's like a basketball team that starts missing their free throws. It seems to be contagious to the other guys on the team, and that's exactly what can happen in gymnastics, and it looks like it's happening to Penn State on pommel horse.
How big a hole, John, can you dig in the first rotation and still dig yourself out of it?
Well, if you're Penn State, you can probably dig a pretty big hole, but they better not get carried away here. They better start hitting because Ohio State is going to put the pressure on, and they are putting the pressure on right now on floor exercise.
Casey, who's put up some big scores, some big numbers in every meet thus far.
And here's that one pommel work that is ever so difficult, right into a handstand, which again is even more difficult way to finish your routine. And I know that's gonna eat him alive because he is a perfectionist, and that was not his best.
A flat beginning for the man off the Canadian national team. John, this could be a treat. The Penn State floor champ from '05, the Big Ten champion on the floor last year out of Butler, Pennsylvania, the junior Eddie Hay.
And now Eddie's got the pressure on him because a guy normally who knocks it out of the park, Jimmy Wickham, unfortunately had an injury, didn't finish his routine. And they're in a position right now, it's a good place for Ohio State to be, but they need to capitalize. They cannot let this opportunity slip away, especially on big routines like this guy, Eddie Hay. Very tough first pass here. Combination. 1 3/4 to finish it. Perfect execution. Again, an amazing combination pass there as well. So far, this routine is rock solid. I have not seen one deduction yet. Nice V-sit, fulfilling a requirement as well, catching his breath.
A routine like this, do you not go until you've got your breath, till you're ready?
Well, there is a time limit, so you can't pause too long. You know, you have 70 seconds to do the routine, so you stand in that corner too much, you're going to go over time and you're going to get a deduction, so you really want to kind of keep it moving. Difficult dismount right here. After that pass, of course, has a double twist in front. He's going to do a triple twist. This is what Jake Bateman was supposed to do. He watered down. Let's see if Eddie does it. It's risky. And he does it. Perfect. And that is exactly what the doctor ordered for Ohio State. That is going to be a big score for the Buckeyes.
Take a look at Eddie Hay and the first pass here, John.
And watch this. This is one of the most difficult passes being done collegiately right now.
1.5 twist, punch front full, and he does a 1 3/4 rollout. And the key to that is he has no landing deductions.
And what about the twist at the very end?
Take a look at this. Triple twist with 1 flip. See if he can count them. 1, 2, and 3. Spots the landing. Slides his feet a little, but doesn't get much better than that. Eddie Hay delivering what the Buckeyes needed.
We'll continue with more from St. John Arena right after this. Out of Ottawa Carleton High School up in Ontario, Canada, 21-year-old freshman Warren Yang on the floor for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Now he needs to build. Derek hit his routine. It wasn't a huge scoring routine, but all they need to do now is build on it. They got some big dogs coming, and that is a huge mount. Arabian double pike front. We saw that tuck earlier from a couple of the Buckeyes. That is the first time we've seen that tonight. That is incredibly difficult. Beautiful combination pass for the second run. Very nice 2.5 twist punch, Branny. Nice style points on that landing.
Warren Yang, 21 years of age, the freshman, picked Penn State over Iowa and Michigan and some school up in the Twin Cities. Who went there?
I don't know, but he should have gone to Gopherland. That's where I'm from, man. That's the place to be.
Your dad was the coach, right?
Yeah, he coached there for 33 years, coached me as well. But it looks like Warren is pretty comfortable at Penn State because this floor routine is stacked top to bottom. This could be a very big score for them. Get them back on track a little bit. Beautiful full-in dismount. The first time we've seen that tonight as well. He had some big tumbling, not only some difficult combination passes, but he had some big single skills in there as well.
First pass now for Warren Yang.
Take a look at this. This is a half twist to a double front like we saw earlier, but look, pike position, which makes it incredibly difficult. Here's a combination pass again. 2.5 twist, punch Brandy. Look how he styles this out right here. Style points for Yang right there. Avoids that landing deduction by doing that high profile.
Coach Randy Jepson said we're probably the best we've ever been. That's saying something at Penn State on the floor. The freshman out of nearby Marysville, Ohio, Mike Bell.
Do I dare say the pressure builds for this guy because of the guy before him falling? I need to change my story here because it seems to be a common thread so far in this event.
Well, right now, John, just a solid effort on the horse, right, would give a team a huge boost, wouldn't it?
Just stay on would give the team a huge boost. Let's see if the second man up can make that happen. And he's got some difficult skills in here as well. You're going to see some familiar ones and some that have had mistakes earlier tonight. Small error on that. He missed the hand placement that he needed. And here's the woo again. Nobody's made it tonight. Mike's the first one. That last skill is called the Tong Fei, named after a great Chinese gymnast. Kind of old school, but I like it. A hit routine, and that's a good thing. After a number of mistakes, he did struggle a little on the dismount, but hey, it's a hit, and let's see if the hits can now become contagious for Ohio State.
The redshirt freshman out of Hocking Valley Gymnastics Center, where he was coached by Buckeye alum Mike Serra.
There's the dismount again. You can see him struggling a little bit to get to that handstand. And let's take a look at his hands right here. Here's the woo. Does 2 complete turns as he travels the length of the horse, and you can see how intricate that handwork is. One small little misplacement of that hand, and you are going to be off.
Mike Bell, who earned a season-high 14.5 on the horse at home here against California back the middle of February. Great competitor here, the sophomore in the all-round 5'5" sophomore, Noam Shaham.
Another difficult combination pass, unfortunately, not as clean as Warren Yang did earlier. He had a little bit of a problem on that landing, a little short of the twist. And there's that 1.5 twisting 1 and 3, but he added a little something extra to that. He did a whip back into it. which increases the difficulty significantly.
John, how about what Randy Jepson was saying before the meet here? Not only are routines strong, but he talked about the depth. He said, guys, we could put 2 entirely different lineups on the floor. We're that good. We're that deep.
Well, that is a luxury that most teams in the country do not have. In fact, Ohio State doesn't even have a complete lineup on most of the events tonight, meaning they don't have 6 guys up. So that is a luxury for Penn State. Gives them a lot of flexibility. They can play with some different things during the season and make sure once they get to the championship at the end, they got the best possible lineup in.
Junior Israeli all-around champ back in 01. Junior Maccabean all-around champ that same year.
And that's an easy dismount. That's a double twist, which is going to hurt his start value slightly, but after that one mistake early, he really had a very solid and very clean routine.
How about the dismount here? What was the...
We're going to look at this dismount one more time. And the reason it isn't a huge difficulty, he does 1 flip with 2 twists. It's only a C value. The most difficult values are being E moves. And so you need to have a little bit more difficult dismount if you want to be up there with the big dogs. That will be a slight deduction for Noah.
Man that excelled in high school, not only in gymnastics, but in golf and basketball and baseball. Jake Bateman now for the Buckeyes on the horse.
And Jake has really stepped up and become a leader for this team this year, especially with the difficulties that they have had. And if you're going to be a leader, this is the type of situation you need to hit in. After a mistake from your teammates early in this rotation, you got to show that you're up to the task. So far, good routine. There's that tongue fei again that we saw earlier. And you can see how aggressive he is. Some of the other guys up look like they were a little tentative. He's got a good speed in his swing, good speed in his circles. And unfortunately, as I speak, has another major break on the pommel horse. And he was right there, right at the end of that routine. He could taste the finish line.
Here's the part, John, that you really liked, huh?
Yeah, let's take a look. And you can see the consistent tempo in his swing. Even though it's in slow motion, you can tell that it's good, it's clean, it's got a good tempo. Unfortunately, he does not keep that through the dismount. As we take a look at that right here, has a break, that left arm gives out a little bit, and that is just like having a fall. If you have a stop like that, it's the same deduction as a fall.
Is it just the arm? Is it the left hip as well?
No, you know what happens is the arm itself probably bent because he was leaning the wrong way, and so once you start leaning the wrong way, you got to do what you got to do to stay on, and that required him to bend that arm.
The captain, Santiago Lopez from Cibola del Mar, Mexico. Randy Jepson says one of the things he loves about this young man, his steadiness, and of course you don't get to be a captain if you don't have excellent leadership.
And he is definitely a great leader, and he also has a great international background as well. He's competed internationally for Mexico, which again brings some great experience to this squad and some great insight for the rest of his teammates too. And there's the laid out Thomas again that we saw earlier from his teammate. He has a little better time standing up out of that, fortunately for Lopez. Beautiful, showing it off, rebounding out of that punch brainy. There's another look at the Fedorchenko. Done well. Small knee bends in that. Might be a little bit of a deduction, but overall very good. And Penn State, as we saw, has got a little ground to make up. Almost a 3.5 point deficit after one event, which is a lot of points in the sport of gymnastics. Another Arabian 1 and 3, this time with in the laid out position with a half of a twist. Good full in back out dismount. Did have a fairly large step on that, which will probably be about a 3/10 deduction, but a good routine from Lopez.
Who captained their junior national team in Mexico twice. Here's the laid out Thomas, huh?
And look at this, 1.5 twist, 1 and 3s coming in, and you can see that floor coming straight at you. You got to make sure you duck that head under in time. Here's another look at the 2.5 twist punch brainy. Look how he flares this out, showing it off. He's got to be a good 4 or 5 feet in the air on that. One more look at the dismount. We don't see a lot of these anymore. Used to see them back in the old days when I competed, but a full in, back out, difficult dismount. Little trouble in the landing, but overall, good floor routine for Lopez.
For the 6-time Mexican national champion. Back on the horse now at Stephen T. Baden High School, Hamilton, Ohio, the junior, Andy Sauerberg.
Pressure is on Andy, following 2 mistakes from his teammates, and you do count the top 4 out of the 6 scores on each event. So it's absolutely critical that he gets back on track here and knocks this one out of the park.
Currently holds the 10th highest 3-score average on the pommel horse among the Big Ten competitors in the Gym Info national rankings.
And you can see why. He's got great extension. His body is really stretched out over the pommel horse. Good form, good toe point. And that is a good routine. Miles Avery is excited. You can see him there congratulating him. That is exactly what Ohio State needed to do.
Handshake from his coach, Miles Avery. Good rotation in that routine, don't you think, John?
No, it was great. He had good speed in the circles. His feet are glued together through almost the entire routine. And you want to see a lot of space between the body and the pommel horse. As the legs go over, you don't want to see him getting too close to those pommels with the body of the horse. He did that very, very well. Good routine for Andy. Getting Ohio State back on track.
On the floor for the Nittany Lions, Casey Sandy, who represented his native Canada at the '07 World Championships in Stuttgart, Germany.
And this is a great event for Casey. Not that he has any bad ones, but right now is the time that the Nittany Lions need him to come through. Casey's not only a great collegiate athlete here in the United States, but he has got an international pedigree as well. He just competed at the World Championships last September in Stuttgart, Germany, where he competed in the all-around finals against the best of the best. So he's got the experience that they need.
Third in the all-around back at the Madeira Cup. How important is international competition in your sport?
You know, I think it is very, very important. You know, collegiate gymnastics is a little bit different. The schedule's a little more grueling. You have competitions every weekend. Internationally, you may only have a competition every few months. But it is nice when you go up against the best in the world from other countries and you do well, like Casey has done. It gives you a great deal of confidence coming back here and competing against these collegiate athletes. So far, this is a great routine for Casey. Very difficult pass right there. Whip to a 2.5 twist. We saw the 2.5 twist a lot earlier, but not with the whip back in front of it for the dismount. Great job for Casey Sandy.
A strength move we haven't seen a great deal of.
And this does fulfill a requirement again on the floor exercise. Wide arm handstand, also known as a Japanese handstand. And the difficult part about that is he's got to calm himself down to hold that static position when he's been tumbling all over the place before it. Last pass, there's the whip to 2.5 twist. Great landing. Good job for Casey Sandy, keeping Penn State rolling, getting them back, hopefully narrowing that gap with Ohio State.
For the Buckeyes, out of Bear, Delaware. Not too far from here, the senior, Tony Duong.
And the tough thing for Ohio State is they only had 5 guys on this event to start with, so they only really had room for one mistake, and we did see that they did have a couple, which only amplifies the importance of Tony hitting this routine. So far, beautiful.
Tony with a 3-score average of 13.65 on the horse, currently tied for 16th in Big Ten competition.
Struggling a little bit right there, some small errors. Gets it up to the handstand, a little bit slow. He will have some deductions at the end of the routine, but one of the best routines we've seen tonight, and we do see a smile. I think they all know that tonight is a night you just want to stay on the pommel horse.
A little bit like figure skating when you start to lose the edge. I mean, you fight it so you don't fall.
Definitely, and he was on the edge right here at the end of this routine, and you can see him struggle a little bit. His feet touch the horse. That's a deduction as well, and you can see he struggles to make that pirouette. But you know what? That was a good routine for Tony and good for Ohio State, and the way pommel horse has gone this evening, any hit is a good hit.
So Penn State came back with a good effort on the floor, and after 2 rotations, the second-ranked Nittany Lions have crept ahead of Ohio State. Now in this quad meet here in Columbus, the women, of course, are also competing. For the Nittany Lions, they'll open up on the uneven bars and finish up on the balance beam. And for the Buckeyes at home, they'll start on the vault and finish up on the floor. John, her coach, Carrie Fagan, says after a summer of hard work, she is stronger than Hillary Dow has ever been.
And she has been one of the mainstays on this team all year. And she's going to be doing the same vault as her teammates. Yurchenko full. Let's see if she can stick this landing. Wow, those vaults are carbon copies of one another for Ohio State, but a good start for the Buckeyes.
Picture of perseverance and dedication right here.
Another look at the vault. It looks just like her teammates. Nice pop off the vault, a small step.
She just turned 19 January 15th of this year, the 5'3" freshman Danielle Hover.
And this girl has really been rock solid for Penn State this year. With all the challenges they've had with the young team, with some injuries, she has really been an unsung hero for the Nittany Lions. She's stepped up. She's been an incredibly hard worker. A really great story for the Nittany Lions. Her bar routine, not real difficult, but consistent. And again, getting them off to a good start. That's exactly why she's in this lineup.
Her dad, David, a gymnast for Kent State.
Here's a difficult bar-to-bar exchange. That's a shoot over. Right to a toe up. Good combination. She does a full over right to a double tuck for a dismount. One of the more simple dismounts being done tonight, but just about perfectly done.
Steve Shepard, her coach. Lots of natural ability, trying to upgrade her degree of difficulty and thus add depth. On the vault for the Buckeyes, Beth Ann Ballard, back from that knee injury as a freshman.
She's got a difficult vault. Yurchenko laid out with a full twist. It is huge, a huge vault. Little trouble on that landing, though. Big step. That's going to cost her, but plenty of power on that.
Ask her 3 words to describe herself. She said energetic, caring, and, oh yes, girly.
I think powerful would qualify as well. This vault is huge, and you can see by the momentum on that landing that she had plenty juice on it.
Last year's Big Ten Freshman of the Year, 4'11" and power pack, the super sophomore, 20-year-old Brandy Personette.
And she is picking up right where she left off last year, ranked in the top 20 in the all-around in the country, and she has just been rock solid Nittany Lion all year. And she is exciting to watch. She's got a big release. It's also the ganger. Oh! And that does not feel good. You try jumping off a 10-foot bar and landing on your stomach. I don't care how much mat is there. It does not feel good. She's just a little too far away. You can see the fingertips. Just needs to be a little bit closer, and she has got the wind knocked out of her for sure. Trying to recover. She has 30 seconds to get back up on that bar. Otherwise, she only gets judged on what she's performed. So this is very critical she gets back up.
The wind and some confidence knocked out of her.
Oh, absolutely, especially for someone like her who is like an out-of-body experience to miss her routine as consistent as she's been. But you got to regroup. She's got a big dismount. It's a double layout. Hold on. Beautiful. Nice finish right there for her, and that is a shocker, I'm sure, not just for her, but for her teammates. So there's a dismount again. Beautiful landing. Tough start for Brandy, and you can see grimacing right there, I'm sure, from the disappointment and from the pain of that fall.
The freshman back better than ever after knee surgery last year. Jessica Staten on the vault.
And we are going to see in the same vault that we saw from Beth Ann moments ago. Yurchenko with the full twist. Very common in collegiate athletics for women. Nicely done. Small step on the landing. Overall, very good vault.
Jessica likes to say, never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing your game. Good form.
And that was a good vault. That small step is really the only deduction. Should score a little bit better than her teammate.
She's 19 now, John, but she'll celebrate her 20th birthday, May 26th of this year, Alexandra Brockway.
And Penn State needs to be really careful here. They've already had a mistake. Ohio State is nailing their vaults. Another mistake will really open the door early for the Buckeyes.
How hard is it to perform after you've just seen your teammate and friend wipe out?
It's awful. The last thing in your mind is watching your teammate fall. Mind you, a teammate that never has a mistake. And you got to compose yourself, and you got to get your team back on track. And Alex is doing that thing right now. She's looking perfect so far. Decent double pike. Medium step on the landing. That will be a small deduction.
Steve said that Alex has really improved her consistency in all 4 events this year. Really stepped it up big.
Very clean pack salto.
The senior out of Tampa on the vault now for the Buckeyes.
And she has really been one of the leaders for this Ohio State team this year. Ironically enough, she's came in as a very weak vaulter, but has really worked hard on it, learned this vault that she's going to do here today, and has been competing it ever since her freshman year.
High goals for herself and thus for her teammates. Here we go.
There's another Yurchenko laid out with a full twist. Very similar to her teammates. They all have that medium step in the landing. Another look at it. Pikes down a little bit. Takes that step back. Clean vault in the air. Just got to stick those landings.
More from St. John Arena after this. Back at St. John Arena on the campus of Ohio State University here in Columbus, the quad meet continues. Penn State and the Buckeyes. Rotation 2 on the vault for Penn State. They call her teeny. She's only 5'2", the 18-year-old freshman, Christina Beck.
And let's see if she can get Penn State off to a solid start here on vault. She's going to do a very familiar vault. Yurchenko again. Nicely done. Again, that small step seems to be plaguing all these vaulters. See the round off onto the board, back handspring up onto the vault. Little form in the air right there. And that a common step backwards.
Out of the Starlight Gymnastics Club. Her coach, Carrie Fagan, says Kiki Holman did a great job last year recovering from the Achilles tear. She's been a model of consistency all season.
And she's got a nice little combination in this routine, fairly unusual. You see it right here. That's called a Higgins to a straddle back. Very unique, very difficult. Got a big dismount. Got to stick the landing. Got to stick it. Beautiful double layout, and she sticks that, I'm told, almost every time.
Out of Rockford High School in Greenfield, Minnesota, wants to become a landscape architect.
There you saw the Higgins to straddle back again. Beautiful. And here's the double layout. Sticks it every time like clockwork.
Best tip she ever got, take a deep breath before your flight. She loves pizza and Pirates of the Caribbean. Not a bad combination. Casey Rohrbaugh, the 19-year-old from Spring Grove High School, Spring Grove, Illinois.
Again, we need to see some stuck landings. That's the way you separate yourselves from the pack on this event. Almost clean vault. Again, great in the air. Decent landing. Staying toe-to-toe with Ohio State.
Casey's 14-year-old sister Taylor, also a gymnast back in Illinois. All you need to know about Alyssa Meyer, her biggest thrill in sports as a competitor or a viewer, watching the U.S. win the gold medal in women's gymnastics at the '96 Olympics.
And she is affectionately called Steady Meyer because she is so rock solid. And watch this release move, a reverse heck. Humongous reverse heck. You will not see a bigger one done in the sport of gymnastics. That was absolutely amazing. Also called the little engine that could because she is such a hard worker. Brings it every day, both in the classroom and in the gym. Nice double layout dismount, small hop on the landing, but continuing to be so steady.
Worked very hard in the offseason to improve her routines and her consistency.
There's another look at that reverse heck. She is well above that bar. Amazing.
Wants to be a physical therapist when she graduates. John, when you're talking about Brandy Personette on the vault, the Big Ten champ from last year, but you're really talking about explosiveness right from the start.
If anybody can set themselves apart from the pack, it's this girl right here. She does the Yurchenko, but she adds an extra half twist. Watch close. 1.5 twist. And there's that step in the landing again, but she adds some difficulty. That is an amazing vault. Huge amplitude, excellent form in the air. The only thing is that step in the landing. Watch this. Opens up, nice.
Out of the Champion Gymnastics Academy back in Katy, Texas, her hometown, Brandy Personette.
Recovers nicely from uneven bars.
Kay Clevenger up now for the Buckeyes says a person's accomplishments can best be measured by the size of their heart.
Well, we're going to see what kind of heart she has right now. See if she can put that exclamation point on the Ohio State bar team right here. She's capable of going big. That's a pack salto from high bar to low bar. Nice toe up so far. Great routine. Cranking those giants. Big double layout and a perfect landing.
Lettered 4 years, a standout softball player as well back in Shawnee Mission, Kansas.
There's that pack salto again. Great form from this girl. Way to finish bars for the Buckeyes. Nice job. And look at this dismount. I'm told she sticks all the time as well, and she proves it right there. Nice job.
Team captain, great leadership, positive role model. So after 2 rounds in the women's rotation, Carrie Fagan's Buckeyes by 1.5 points. When we come back, the men's action resumes from Columbus on the Big Ten Network. More terrific men's gymnastics action coming up on your Big Ten Network. Illinois and Iowa at Minnesota. Mark it down, March 24th, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock in the Twin Cities, right here on the Big Ten Network. A deep breath, a sigh, and Kevin Brown, the sophomore out of Pepper Pike, Ohio, next on the rings for the Buckeyes.
Now, if you're a big dog on the still rings, you're going to be doing a skill called the Maltese. And we'll see some more of these as the competition goes on. And we're going to see the first one here by Kevin. That is a Maltese. It should be perfectly flat and right in between those rings. Got to hold it for 2. Struggling a little bit on that. You can see his body shaking, and that is an indication to the judges that he's given a little bit away. But incredibly difficult. I cannot emphasize how much to the viewers that is a tough, tough skill.
Miles Avery's about 12 feet away, just applauding this effort.
There's those Yamawakis again, and those should flip over a lot faster than those 2 did right there. That will be a deduction as well. Just a dismount left. Double layout. And the perfect landing. Good finish. Struggled a little through the middle of the routine, but that's the way to finish it. Don't give anything away on that landing.
Kevin was an academic All-America in high school, also excelled on the tennis team and got off to a pretty solid start, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And take a look at that beginning again at these Malteses. And if you want to know how difficult this is, lay on your living room floor, put your arms to the side, and try to lift your body up, because that's exactly what he's doing. That is very good. The shoulder's a little bit high, but all in all, not bad. Another look at the double layout. 2 flips in the stretch position, spots the landing. Perfect.
Out of the West Side Gymnastics Club, Pepper Pike, Ohio, Kevin Brown. On the vault.
That was a beautiful Sukahara with a double twist for Verbitsky. One of the more difficult vaults you're going to see tonight. Comes off the vault, going backwards, 1 flip, 2 twists. You can see his feet were a little bit staggered, kind of like the telemark landing in ski jumping, and that will be a small deduction.
Next on the rings, Shahar Tall. Started out in gymnastics at the age of 6. What a coach he had back then. Sergei Vaisbor.
Interesting note, just for the viewers, not all the events in gymnastics have the same scoring potential. Vault is a very high scoring event, and rings does not tend to score as high. So this is a chance for Penn State to gain some ground or stretch a little bit of that distance between them and Ohio State, although Ohio State's going to have that opportunity shortly when they go to the vault. Another look at the Maltese. Very solid on that. Very good hold. Don't see too many of these anymore. Backup rise to inverted cross, incredibly difficult. Beautiful giant to handstand. It's so important that those handstands are rock solid. No movement in the body. Just a dismount now. Watch the landing, double layout. Small hop on the landing, but that was a great routine. The scores are building for Ohio State, and it's so critical they keep it going in the right direction, because this has tended to be a tough event for them. There's a kip to Maltese. No movement on that. That was great. Here's the backup rise to inverted cross. The shoulders actually need to be flat, right in between those rings, which is not the case there. That will be a deduction, but overall, that's a pretty good inverted cross.
For the man who competed for the European champs and the world champs as well. The 22-year-old 5'4" senior for the Nittany Lions, Gladly Corman.
This is a big vault. This is one you don't see too often. He's going to flip over 3 times from the time he hits the board to the floor. 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Incredible. Incredibly difficult. It was not too long ago that people said that was not possible in the sport of gymnastics, and you just saw one done about as well as it can be. He leaves the board. 3 flips. 1 as he goes onto the vault, and then 1, 2, 3. And I tell you what, if he would have stuck that landing, you would have seen something that very few people in the world have ever seen.
Watch his teammates here explode off the bench. Beautiful. After that terrific effort on the vault for the Nittany Lions. One of the things that Randy Jepson was talking about, doing a much higher and a more difficult vault.
That is one of the most difficult things in all of sports right there. You guys have just been treated to something pretty special.
Jake Bateman, a last-minute addition for Coach Miles Avery in the 5th slot here on the rings for the Buckeyes. As you check the scores for the meet, what to your keen eye have you learned?
Well, this is a good sign for Ohio State, because they did have 2 events, and they are doing a great job in rings. They're probably going to lose that lead after this rotation simply because vault is such a high-scoring event, but they get to go there next. After 4 events, if they can be close to Penn State, that bodes very, very well for the Buckeyes, a situation they did not expect to be in. Jake is looking very good on this event, and the reason he hasn't been doing rings this season is he does have a shoulder injury, and that skill right there is what gives his shoulder so much trouble, those in-locating skills. But honestly, it looks like there is no problem this afternoon for Jake Bateman.
And John, for the folks at home listening, as the music is being piped in now during this Buckeye effort on the rings, the Penn State Nittany Lion women's team on the floor. So the quad meet continues, action all over St. John Arena.
Actually, Jake has a ring music that he uses. I don't know if you knew that, Jim. That was a great routine from Jake, and for somebody who's injured, that is a phenomenal, phenomenal performance.
Telling me he's doing the rings with the iPod?
You know what? Whatever you got to do, this is a tough event. You need every advantage you can get. And these are the skills that give his shoulder so much trouble. Those are the Yamawakis we talked about. That in-locating action really put a strain on that shoulder. Look at the dismount right here. Full twisting double layout, the most difficult dismount being done tonight. Does it well, small step on the landing, but I tell you what, I'm impressed. This kid has really stepped up. He's shown why he's one of the captains of this Ohio State Buckeye team.
The junior out of Tennessee, Jake Bateman. Casey Sandy hoping he can do about half as well as Corman, his Penn State teammate, did on that last vault effort, huh?
And he's got a vault that's got a huge start value. He doesn't flip over as many times, but he twists a whole lot of times. 2.5 to be exact. Oh, he watered down a little bit on that. He usually can do another half twist on that vault. It's going to lower the start value, but he did it clean. He did it actually very, very well. It should still score quite nicely.
Watered down. What do you mean?
Watered down, that means you just take a little bit of difficulty out of your routine or out of a skill. You can see he does double twist, and he's capable of doing another half, which would have faced him away from the vault upon landing, which adds to the difficulty to that start value.
Where do you start the water down? On the run when you hit the mat?
No, you know before you take the first step down that vault runway that exactly what you're going to do on that vault. You can't decide midair, although sometimes things change, but it gets a little dangerous to decide halfway through a routine what you're going to do.
For the Buckeyes, the freshman Brandon Wynn next up on the rings.
And Brandon is probably the best healthy gymnast that Ohio State has on this event. He's a youngster, but he has got some great ring strength. We'll see a very, very nice combination to start this routine off.
John, is there much that a coach can do to help you in the performance on the rings?
Well, once you're here and you're holding on to those rings, there's not a lot he can do except step back and give you a little confidence. And look at that Maltese, perfectly flat, the best one we've seen tonight. And you can see the arms straining, just every strand of muscle coming through the skin. Another Maltese. Look at how flat that is. That is perfect. That is textbook right there. That's how it's supposed to be done. And this is the part of the routine where you try to get as much oxygen as you can because you just spent a tremendous amount of energy on that sequence. Milwaukee's to another strength part, back uprise to what's called a planche.
If you heard somebody saying, come on, work it, that's his coach, Miles Avery.
The giant to handstand, also a requirement on ring. Just the dismount. Let's see if he can add to the stick total for Ohio State. And he does. That is a phenomenal routine. That is likely one of the best routines we will see this evening. Brandon Wynn moving Ohio State in the right direction.
Maltese to cross.
And take a look at this. His shoulders right in between the rings. And he goes to what's called an Azarian roll to a cross. Here we go. Another look at the Maltese. Perfectly flat. Shoulders are right in between the rings. And right to it. And there's the Azarian roll again to the cross. Beautiful.
Terrific effort. And he's just a freshman, Brandon Wynn.
He has got a bright future here at Ohio State.
The 5'4" senior out of Chibola del Mar, Mexico, the captain, Santiago Lopez for Penn State.
And Lopez is supposed to do the 2.5 twist as well. Casey Sandy backed off a little bit, took a half twist out. We will see if Lopez goes for max difficulty, a little more risk, but a lot more bonus if he can pull it off. And he does it. A little bent knees in the air, but that was overall a good vault. Huge distance on that. Probably one of the biggest vaults you'll see this evening.
When you say biggest vaults, what exactly do you mean? What should the folks watch for?
Big, high, far. You get away from that vault a long ways, that's big. If you're landing close to the vault, that's small. That right there was huge. Comes off the vault, 2.5 twists. Can't really see that landing when his feet hit. That's what makes it so difficult. Good job for Lopez. That'll be a high score.
After 3 men's rotations, Penn State ranked number 2 in the country, a 5.5-point lead over Ohio State. When we come back, more Big Ten gymnastics coming up. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Big Ten Conference and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this event may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Big Ten Conference. Interesting to talk to Randy Jepson about Jason Chu and the fact because of the injuries, he hasn't been able to train the way he would like his gymnasts to do.
And that is the difficult part about gymnastics, is there's so much difficulty involved. You need to really do everything in practice that you're going to do in the meets. And Jason is normally outstanding on this event. And that combination right there is something we haven't seen tonight. That's an iron cross, pull the Maltese, and he gets something called combination bonus for that. And you have to pull upwards to another strength part to get that combination bonus. Incredibly difficult.
John, when you were competing, what was the hardest part of the rings for you?
When I started and everything in between that and the dismount. Big dismount, double twisting, double back. First time we've seen that as well. That's one of the more difficult dismounts being done on rings. 2 flips, 2 twists. Done well. Exciting gymnastics right there.
Red-shirted as a freshman. Might have turned an ankle there and a little discomfort after the dismount.
Let's look at the beginning of this routine. He shows that Maltese again. A little bit high in that position, but right here is what I'm talking about. From the iron cross, he pulls upward into a Maltese, and he does get combination bonus for that, which is huge to the start value. And look at the dismount. 2 flips, 2 twists, a lot going on. Tough to land, but done well. That is a great feeling right there. All that happening in the air, and you got that good landing. Awesome.
Eddie Hay qualified for the Winter Cup, his favorite memory in gymnastics thus far. An allied science major medicine.
And we're going to see another Yurchenko vault from Eddie. Round off on the floor, onto the board. Full twist. I tell you what, that is a great vault. And the thing that really stands out for these early vaulters for Ohio State to me is that they're doing these simpler vaults, but they're doing them really, really well, which leads me to believe that later in the season they are going to add a twist and add some difficulty bonus. Take a look at this. Look how easy. Hops it off the vault. Good height. Perfect form in the air. Spots the landing. Outstanding. I'll show you where the extra twist would come. Right here, you can add a half right there, which would add significant bonus. I have a feeling it'll be there in not too distant future.
See that little grimace there just before his hands hit the floor, like, give me some strength, give me some boost here, rocket.
You always do that. That's part of the sport.
One of the things that Randy Jepson says, he's just happy that this man is back for his senior leadership in his senior season. Outstanding career for the Nittany Lions, Derek Helsby.
And I think he's probably glad he's back for his outstanding gymnastics as well. And we're going to see a really unique start to this routine. You're going to get dizzy just watching this. We're going to see a back-to-back double fronts in between the rings to a unique strength sequence. Keep your eyes on this. There's 1, there's 2, and another what's called a Hanma to iron cross, and he's not finished. Pull out to Maltese, got a hold of 2. Struggled a little bit on that Maltese. And you can see that Barry Bonds-like tape job on his left arm. Got a little bit of an elbow issue, which is going to be affected on those Malteses, but that was a good start to the routine. Gets that swing to handstand out of the way, just a dismount now. Full twisting double back, perfect landing. Now again, easier dismount, but perfect landing, and that's what's necessary if you're going to back off a little bit. Take another look at this.
Concerned though, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know, I think he knows that he's capable of doing a little bit better, especially on these strength moves. But he'll get stronger as the season goes on. There's the double fronts, and that's the Hanma. Right to the iron cross, which raises the value of that skill as he pulls out to the Maltese. Again, getting combination bonus for that outstanding routine.
A very quiet talk from his coach, Randy Jepson. They were looking at a piece of paper. I'm not sure if he got a little lost in mid-routine there, but quiet word from the coach. How do you start gymnastics as Justin Myers did when you're 1 year of age?
I don't know, man. All I was doing is drooling and pooping in my diaper at 1 year old, so I don't know how he was doing gymnastics, but we're going to see a good ball right here. Sukahara with a double twist. Yeah! I think he's excited, Jim. That was a good ball, a lot to be excited about.
As are his Buckeye teammates, the 06 state champ on the parallel bars, Justin Myers, just a sophomore.
And you can see the Sukahara doesn't do the round off in front of the board like the Yurchenko. 1 flip, 2 twists, and a He-Man yell. Nice job.
Yeah! There we go! Come on!
I love it. I love the excitement. You got to get into it. You got to get your team fired up a little bit, and that might be something the Buckeyes need right there.
Back in 2003, this young man on your screen, recognized by the Puerto Rican Senate as the most promising young athlete in gymnastics in the country. Out of San Antonio High School and in Puerto Rico, Tommy Ramos.
And if there's a team better than Penn State, which evidently there is because they're ranked number 2 in the country, I have a hard time believing it because they are stacked, and Tommy fits right into that. I apologize. Look at this sequence right here. And watch this. Presses from the iron cross again to an inverted cross, and he does this as good as I've seen it. Now, he watered down that a little bit. He usually does the Hanma that we saw earlier to that Maltese, but got through that well. Really wouldn't know that if you didn't know the routine ahead of time.
Randy Jepson says his physical strength is unparalleled, and the coach says, I don't know of anybody who's as strong as he is on the rings right now.
That was a beautiful routine. Beautiful double layout, stuck landing. Struggled a little bit getting to the handstand near the end, but that's a tremendous, tremendous routine. That's a world-class routine. And here's the beginning again. Kip to Maltese. And watch this. He does a Zarian roll, that's called, or a backward roll to an L cross. And here's the press to inverted cross. That right there is rock star-like. That is a tough, tough sequence. Here's the Yamawaki, the double front. Right there, he usually does a Hanma to Maltese, just does a back upright cross. I say just, as it's easy to sit here and watch from a chair. But there's a beautiful double layout. Probably working on upgrading that too, but that's a great, great routine.
And to give you an idea of just how far Tommy has come, when he was in high school, there was no gymnastics team at his high school. You see the first 3 scores for Jake Bateman. Here he is now for the Buckeyes on the vault.
And he's got another solid vault for Ohio State. It's the double twist as well. But he does it as good as it can be done. Perfect form in the air, small hop on the landing, but he could not ask for anything more than that right there. Solid. Look at his feet, glued together. Just skirts that line on the right, manages to stay in. Probably only a 1/10 deduction on that landing. Beautiful. The junior leader is looking solid for Ohio State. He wants to get that Big Ten Conference title back in Buckeye land.
A threat to win a national championship in every event and the all-around. Casey Sandy now on the rings for the Nittany Lions.
And it's just amazing. They've had so many good guys go up in this lineup already. And here we go with their best guy, their top all-arounder, Casey Sandy, just to add a little icing on the cake. Casey decided to be a little different. He doesn't want to face the camera. I guess he thinks he wants everybody to know his name, I guess. Not quite the difficulty we saw from Tommy before him, but this is a good routine. There's the back upright planche. Got good swing, although he's got to be still in that handstand. A little bit of a wobble, giving away a couple tenths on that. And there's the full twisting double layout again, done well. Small step on the landing, good finish for Penn State. It'll be interesting to see where these two teams stand after 4 events.
A little bit of a bobble there, John, on the vertical here, huh?
Yeah, and you kind of got to change the pace of the routine when you go from strength to swing, and that is a swing move that has got to finish in the handstand perfectly without any movement. Another look at the dismount, full twisting double layout. Pikes a little bit on that last flip. Probably going to get away with it. The judges should give him the layout, although they may take a small deduction. Ohio State looks good on this event so far. Need to add some more difficult vaults, so let's see if Brandon can do it. There's a double twist, done very well. This freshman, man, I tell you what, we have not seen the last of this kid. He's going to have an outstanding career at Ohio State.
You know, in his very first meet, his first collegiate meet in the Windy City Invitational, 81.6 in the all-around, good for 7th. That was his first meet ever at the collegiate level.
And that's a big competition, too. I used to compete at that. A lot of teams, a lot of good gymnasts. There's the double twist. Got to stay in between those 2 lines right there. If your feet go outside those lines, that is a deduction. No problem for Brandon.
After 4 rotations for the men, Penn State with a comfortable 4.5-point lead. We turn our attention now to the women. The 3rd rotation next, the beam and the floor. John loves these Minnesota gymnasts out of Greenfield up there in the land of 10,000 lakes. Kiki Holman, who first admired Shannon Miller, pretty good role model.
And if you're going to admire a gymnast, it's Shannon on this event. She's an Olympic gold medalist, and those are some good footsteps to follow in. And this is that event. This is the gauntlet. This, if you're going to get nervous, this is not the event for you, because it is so tough because of tricks like that. Nice layout step out. It's only 4 inches wide, 4 feet off the ground, 16 feet long. And it will test your nerves for sure.
How do you get over that fear factor?
You don't, pretty much. No, I mean, you just you do a lot of practice, and you just try to get comfortable. But I tell you what, I don't care how many times you've done a routine. And not that I worked beam back in the day, but I've been up on that thing, and I don't know how you can ever get comfortable. It is amazing. You add the pressure of a competition on top of it, especially late in the season when you have championship meets, and it'll crack the toughest competitor. I've seen it happen many times before. So dismount. 1.5 twist. We're going to see a lot of those today. That was a good start for Ohio State. If there's an event you want to hit, first up, this is it. You want to get that comfort level as high as you can for the rest of your teammates. Here's her series, and that's a requirement on balance beam. Done well.
Out of Rockford High School, she was a member of the National Honor Society and Student Council in high school. Penn State on the floor. She was first in the floor in '06, the Florida State champ the year before that, Christina Beck.
And this is where the athletes get to have a little fun, get to show off a little bit, they get to pick their music. Our first look at the floor exercise today. Jim, these moves look a little bit like yours that you were doing earlier. Little robot.
With electric light orchestra. How important confidence is that first pass, Bards?
It's big, and she's got a nice double tuck, perfect landing, and that's what you want to have. And this is a fun event for the girls to kind of show their personality a little bit. It's not just about the actual gymnastic skills, it's about showing off, it's about selling your performance to the judges a little bit. Do a combination pass right here. That's a requirement, a 2 salto pass. Again, perfect landing. This isn't the most difficult routine, but it's clean, very clean so far.
Christina out of the Starlight Gymnastics Club, Jacksonville, Florida, went to Bishop John Snyder High School there, also excelled on the diving team.
I had the opportunity to go to that gym a few times when I was in Florida, worked out there a couple times. It's a nice facility, and they put out a lot of very good gymnasts. Last pass, and this will be a great start for the Nittany Lions. Beautiful double pike. She actually starts with a double tuck, which is not even as difficult as the double pike she does for a dismount. Interesting routine construction.
Teammates call her Teeny. She'll turn 19 May 27th of this year. Christina Beck, first pass.
Here's a look at the first pass again. The double back. Knees a little bit apart in the air, but perfect landing. And here's a look at the double pike. Great power, actually. Looks like she could maybe upgrade the difficulty of that routine a little bit.
Next up on the beam for the Buckeyes, Rebecca Best.
And Ohio State's got a nice little lead after 2 events. But again, balance beam. This has been their nemesis all year long. And they're going to have to turn that trend around right here if they want to hold on to that lead. And again, they have not beaten Penn State since 1999, so this would be a monumental win for them.
What advice then, John, would you give to Coach Carrie Fagan about improving her team's performance on the beam?
You know, I talked to the coaches a little bit about that and about balance beam. And, you know, as a coach, there's not a lot you can do except you just keep training. You keep trying to give your team confidence during the week and while they're practicing those routines. And again, it's mental rehearsal, it's physical rehearsal, and they just got to go out there and do that routine the way they do it in practice. Unique skill, a standing front tuck. Don't see that too often.
Young lady with a lot of potential, huh?
She really does. You know, only a freshman, and she's got so many more great years ahead of her. And her assistant coach, Bill Lorenzen, refers to her as a rock star in gymnastics, in the gymnastics world, and she's really proven that this year. Tumbles into this dismount, back handspring, 1.5 twist again. Exceptional height on that, good landing. Very good routine for Rebecca.
Took a quote from Lauren Hill, develop a negative into a positive. Dismount, pretty exciting.
This is positive. Back handspring to a 1.5 twist, great height, small hop in the landing, showing why her last name is the best.
As a freshman, this 19-year-old excelled on the beam, the floor, and the all-around. Casey Rohrbaugh.
And Penn State, you know, they need to start closing that gap a little bit. Ohio State not scoring exceptionally big on balance beam right now. They're good on floor exercise. They're ranked 10th in the nation on this event. They're capable of going big time, but they can't wait around. They don't want to wait till those last couple routines. Casey's time is now. Starts off with a fairly difficult combination pass. 2.5 twist punch front. Done very well.
What a start.
And that is tough. Usually you want to start with a big skill, or at least it's a little easier, I think, psychologically to just run down there and chuck something big rather than doing one of those combination passes, which really are easy to have a mistake on. Coming back, big double pike. Penn State is looking good on floor so far.
Casey does not look like a sophomore here, poised, the experience of a senior.
Well, I tell you what, all the gymnasts from Penn State, none of them are upperclassmen tonight, and they really are showing a lot of poise. And, you know, maybe this won't be the best year in Penn State gymnastics history. Maybe it will, but the future looks incredibly bright for Steve Shepard. I know, talking to him earlier, he is thrilled about the prospects of this young class maturing a little bit in the next couple of years. And there's a triple twist, a little short, making that last half a twist around. Probably will get credit from the judges, but it will be a deduction. Penn State's rolling. Nice routine from Casey.
Young lady that picked Penn State because of the amazing athletic tradition and their success, a beautiful campus, and, oh yes, the girls and the team.
Take a look at this triple twist, and you can see her feet were not facing back in the direction in which she came. So that will be a 1 or 2/10 deduction, but solid outing for Casey.
Hillary Dow, she wants to be a physical therapist after she graduates. Well, after her freshman year, she could have used one, that nagging ankle injury, but she's back better than ever.
And this is an event, according to her coaches, she is the most consistent athlete on their team on this piece of equipment. And she will need to be that way tonight because it is getting very, very close in this rotation between these two teams. Here comes that acro series. Small wobble on the landing, but that is where all the tension comes on those flight elements like that.
Her coach, Carrie Fagan, calls Hillary one of the strongest and hardest working athletes to come through the program in her 4 years. Coach Fagan's 4 years.
And she is a good judge of character. She, as an athlete at Penn State, ironically enough, showed that character. She even has an award named after her, the Carrie Hoyt, which is her maiden name, a Perseverance Award because of what a tough athlete she was.
Carrie lettered 3 years for Penn State and was the captain of the Nittany Lions.
I asked her what it's like to get those requests for donations from Penn State while coaching at Ohio State. And she says she wants them to do well, but just not as well as Ohio.
How well did Hillary Dow do on the beam?
That was a very good beam routine. Another look at this acro series, back handspring, layout, step out. Slight balance check. And look at this dismount. This is a gainer full. Fairly unique. We haven't seen this yet tonight. A safe dismount and a good landing.
Big smile for the sophomore from Yorktown, Virginia. The sophomore from Waterford, Pennsylvania, on the floor for Penn State, Rosie Smith, in 13 meets last year, John, on the vault and floor. Rosie never scored below 9.75 on either event.
The model of consistency and a very, very good tumbler as well. And, you know, coming into this competition, Penn State obviously wants bragging rights over their rival, the Ohio State Buckeyes. But at the same time, they need to prove some stuff to themselves, and that's hitting 24 for 24. And obviously, they've had some mistakes tonight, but that, as much as anything, is critical to their success this season. It's a beautiful double pike for her first pass. Coming back with another double back, double tuck. Common theme for the Nittany Lions on floor, doing 2 double flipping skills. Nice leap sequence right there.
Expended a little energy though, right?
It does, but you got to do that. It's not just about tumbling on floor exercise. You are required to do a leap combination as well. And the judges judge those things pretty hard. You got to have good extension, good amplitude, good form in the air. Front full punch front. Penn State is rolling. They want to continue this streak. They don't want to give up this 9-year streak of victories over Ohio State, and that was a great performance right there. They are rolling.
Rosie Smith said she wanted to go to Penn State ever since she was a little girl. First pass.
And here's that double pike again, huge. We need to talk to our coaches about maybe making that a double layout. And here's that front fall, a little bit short on that flip. That'll be a small deduction. But overall, excellent job by Smith.
Before becoming a Buckeye, she was a level 10 performer for 9 consecutive years. Really came through big last year, huh? Coming back from that broken foot in December, stepped it up, Kristen did.
She really has a unique mount there. There's a handstand actually on the ground to mount the balance beam. And this is a critical routine. Some of the other Buckeyes early in this rotation had some mistakes. They're giving up significant ground to the Nittany Lions in this rotation, and she needs to really put something big up, and that is going to go a long way. 2-footed layout. Nice leap again. That's also a requirement on balance beam. Can't just tumble. That full turn, also a requirement.
She had the best answer to what's most fun when the Buckeyes go on the road to an away meet. Sleeping on the bus ride.
That doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun. She's not going to be in the promotional commercial for Ohio State, I don't think, with answers like that. But with this beam routine, she might be. This is a great performance for her. And she's new to the anchor spot, meaning last up in the rotation. And there's that gainer full again. Nice job, nice landing. That's going to be a decent score for Ohio State, and that'll help them out a lot to keep pace with Nittany Lions. There's a 2-footed layout. Only time we've seen that tonight. Done very well.
Her grandfather, Victor Bonucci, is in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. Let's see how Brandy Personette wrestles with a floor exercise here for Penn State.
And raise the scoreboard, because you're about to see the biggest tumbling pass done, male or female, in tonight's competition. It is double layout. It comes right here at the beginning. It is amazing. Hold on. Unbelievable, beautiful execution, amazing height. That is why she is ranked in the top 3 in the nation on this event. She does it, makes it look so easy. Trust me, it is not. Very nice front fold to layout. She has scored a 9.9 on this event 5 times this year. And right now, it looks like it could be number 6.
You can just sense the confidence building, can't you? You see the smile?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's so important. The judges can see that, and they can tell when the athlete makes it look easy, when they're smiling, when they're showing off, when they're having fun out there. That makes an impression on the judges that I guarantee you makes its way into the score for that athlete. You wouldn't think a smile or the expression on someone's face should make a difference, and it really shouldn't, but they're human, those judges, and it makes a big difference. When you can go do a double layout and land with a big smile on your face, it helps. Wow. It looks like she could do the double layout at the end, too. That was an amazing double pike.
Steve Shepard talking about how Brandy upgraded her first pass on the floor. Take another look at it.
And you don't see it done this well. This is as good as it gets. Perfectly straight, feet together, toes pointed, drops out of that thing. And here's the double pike as well. Looks like she's fresh as she was at the beginning of her routine. And that is why she's scoring 9-9s like it's nobody's business.
Last year's Big Ten Freshman of the Year, Brandy Personette. So after 3 rounds in the women's rotation, Penn State clinging to a narrow lead over Ohio State. When we come back, the Nittany Lions will be on the beam. Another look at Brandy Personette. And for the Buckeyes on the floor, we'll see if Rebecca Best can indeed be at her best. Fourth and final rotation, the 5'3" power pack sophomore, Casey Rohrbaugh.
And that last rotation showed some major movement in the standings. Ohio State gave back over 1.5 points to Penn State in that rotation. They had a lot of trouble on balance beam. Meanwhile, Penn State did outstanding on floor and now holds a 3.5-tenth lead over the Buckeyes. If the Buckeyes want to buck the trend and stop this streak of 9 consecutive years of losing to the Nittany Lions head-to-head, they have got to put something together right now. And meanwhile, Casey looking good on balance beam. Again, these early routines are so critical. Nice front tuck into a leap combination.
Looking very poised and confident right now. You saw her teammates behind her there applauding early in the routine.
Yeah, and you can tell too here, even though it's balance beam, you can see when somebody's being assertive, when they're moving judiciously through the routine, keeping a good rhythm. This girl has not missed a routine all season and looks like she's going to keep the trend alive. Double twist. Good dismount. Great start for Penn State.
Look at Casey's energy here. She explodes off the beam.
And she is trying to keep that fire going that they got going on the floor exercise over to the balance beam. Take a look at this 2-footed layout. Step out, very nice.
The psych major might be psyching out the Buckeyes about now. The little engine that could. She is that steady. The junior from Chesterfield, Missouri, just outside St. Louis.
And it's going to be interesting to see what the game plan is for Ohio State and Alyssa Meyer, because she is capable of doing a double layout for her first pass. And talking to the coaches before the meet, they're going to let her warm up, see how it is, see if it's worth taking that risk. Will they go for broke, or will they play the conservative route? If she doesn't do the double layout, she will do a double pike. Let's see what happens.
What would you do if you're the coach? Aggressive? Play it safe.
Probably play it safe, but as a spectator, I want to see the double layout. But it's not. It's the double pike. She goes the safe route. Probably the smart route. But as a fan and a spectator, I want to see the big stuff. There's your 2 salto pass coming up. You can see the aggressive run. You can even see it on her face.
Really gives Carrie Fagan, her coach, some depth at all 4 positions and a chance, the coach says, for all conference honors.
And you got to have that depth. That is so important. Of course, you want to have the big dogs, the big hitters that can throw up 9.9s and 9.95s. But if you don't have those other athletes up early in the rotation that are going to go 9.8, 9.85, maybe even 9.9, you're not going to be a championship team. And it's athletes like this that'll get you there. Last pass, double tuck, showing tremendous power. The Buckeyes going toe-to-toe with the Nittany Lions. It is going to come right down to the end. They are not going quietly into the night.
One of her many nicknames is Steady because of her work ethic and her consistency.
Here's another look at the double pike. You can see why she's capable of that double layout. That was a very open pike. Beautiful.
If you're the 6-time Empire State gold medalist from Hamburg, New York, and you've just turned 19 in the middle of the month, you can't be more rounded than loving the Dave Matthews Band, the Buffalo Sabres, and Mary Lou Retton. Here's Danielle Hover.
Well, we're going to see how well-rounded she is because they are going back and forth, Ohio State, Penn State, on this last rotation. This is a critical routine. Her teammates have done well. However, they did have one mistake earlier in this rotation on beam. That makes this routine oh so critical. Nice layout.
Do you see your teammates there, John, out of the corner of your eye, or are you just focused on the beam?
You know, you really don't. There may be some athletes that can be more cognizant of what's happening around them, but trust me, on a 4-inch wide beam, your focus better be right in front of you. If it's looking at your teammates, your chances are you're going to be standing on the mat momentarily. Good leap combination. They are definitely doing the routine right along with her, though you can hear them pulling for her. Back handspring, 1.5 twist. Again, the walk-on is showing how valuable she is to this team. Coming through in the clutch. There's a dismount again. That back handspring into it makes it more difficult. Again, the 1.5 twist, fairly common distance.
Kaylin Clevenger, the outstanding senior from Shawnee Mission, Kansas, likes to work out to anything from the Rocky soundtrack. And I love the best gymnastic tip that she ever got. Stick it like you've landed yourself in peanut butter. Come on.
That is a very good tip. And right now she needs a whole jug of peanut butter at the end of this floor pass because it's going to take every 10th to beat Penn State. Nice. Coach Fagan and Coach Lorenzen indicated to me earlier this week that it was Penn State week in the Ohio State gym, and they had some different contests for the teams to get them fired up for this weekend's meet. They had to hit a cold balance beam routine. They missed the balance beam routine. They had to wear blue and white the rest of the week, and if they had to pair up with another teammate, and they had to hit 3 routines in a row, and if they didn't, they had to sing the Penn State fight song for the rest of their team. If that's not incentive to hit your routines, I don't know what is.
They shouldn't even know the Penn State fight song.
I guess they printed out the words and everything. Unfortunately for Ohio State, I guarantee you Coach Fagan knows the words. But evidently nobody missed a routine, so they didn't have to sing. She upgraded this dismount this year. You can see a little extra concentration. That's usually a punch front out of that 2.5 twist. Don't know if that was a plan. Actually, no, it's not. That's what she's supposed to be doing, a 2.5 twist. Good floor team. Keeping pace. In fact, they are closing the gap, if not taking the lead over the Nittany line.
First pass here for the energetic Kaylin Clevenger.
And it's a big double pike. And this is the upgrade, a 2.5 twist. We've seen it before, both on the men's and the women's side. Very clean landing.
Her coach, Steve Shepard, says she is very dynamic. Her best events, the beam and the floor. We'll find out here. The 18-year-old Melissa Klein.
And with every hit routine on floor exercise, it gets more and more pressure packed over here on the balance beam. You can almost see the collar of those leotards getting tighter and tighter around the neck. Can they step up? Can they perform? Can they maintain their lead? Very nice layout, step out, solid. You can see her moving through this routine with confidence. You can see why it's one of her better routines. Nice 3-leap combination. A little trouble on that full turn. You know, she does some difficult tumbling, some difficult leaps, and then a fairly simple full turn can cause you some trouble.
Just a freshman. I mean, sometimes it's easy to get a little ahead of yourself in a routine.
You know, there's a lot of adjustments you have to do as a freshman coming into collegiate gymnastics. You have meets every weekend, and there is a little bit more pressure on you. And sometimes you get anxious. You want to press a little bit. You want to be able to perform, and you know what you can do. You know what you've done as a junior, and you want to bring it to this college team. Sometimes you just got to relax and be patient. A very unique dismount. Standing laid out step out to a full twisting dismount. Incredibly difficult and very unique.
Four-time level 10 national qualifier from the Phoenix Gym in Bethpage, New York, Melissa Klein.
There's a look at her acro series. And she's got nice style, nice execution. Here's a look at the dismount. Lay out, step out from a standing position, showing that power that you alluded to earlier, Jim.
This outstanding Ohio State senior drew upon some inspiration from the champ, Muhammad Ali, who said, "It's a lack of faith that makes people afraid of meeting challenges. I believe in myself," as does Malika Moore Thomas.
And she's going to make this crowd believers. Call the maintenance men, because if she hits this routine, the plaster in this building is going to be coming off the walls. And she is capable of going big time, 9-9 last week. And if she gets a 9-9 tonight, it might seal the deal for Ohio State. Humongous double tuck. If her coach was standing on the floor, she would have gone right over the top of him. And she likes to show it off a little bit, Jim. She has fun out there and plays with the crowd a little bit.
A little shake and bake. Draws a lot of her inspiration from an ex-teammate, good friend, LaShondra Holder.
And you can hear the crowd getting loud, teammates yelling. And double pike, probably bigger than the first pass. Ohio State still has one athlete left to go, but this might be enough. She's got a combination pass remaining. Double full punch front, changing directions. That is a very difficult thing to do on floor exercise, something you don't usually see the women doing. Usually the men are changing directions, but outstanding performance from Malika.
I even caught the judges smiling at the end.
Look at this double pike. Gigantic amplitude on that. And here's another look at this double twist punch front. She's going backwards, double twist, changes direction with that punch front.
The crowd loved it.
Big.
Coach Carrie Fagan loved it. Years of age. She'll turn 20 on May 26th of this year. The super sophomore Alexandra Brockway.
And if Penn State has any chance, they're going to need her to nail this routine. If anybody is capable of coming through in a pinch, it is Alex. She has been rock solid. She's been the anchor of this team on balance beam all year. She's got a stacked routine, but she's got to nail it if there is any chance.
How about the support, the encouragement of her teammates right there for the Nittany Lions?
If they get any closer, they're going to be standing on the mat. Aerial walkover, very nicely done. Very difficult skill. It's a blind landing. She's not done yet. She has more difficulty packed into this routine. Right here, this is a unique skill. Standing front tuck. Again, perfect. She is coming through in a pinch, giving the Nittany Lions hope. Just the dismount left. It's relatively easy, but she's got to stick the landing. Yes, that could give them a chance. I don't know if it'll be enough. We'll have to wait and see. But once again, Alex Brockway showing why she is the anchor of this beam team. There's that standing front again, beautiful. And here's the dismount. If it's easy, stick the landing, and she does.
Strong anchor effort for the Communication Arts and Science major out of Macungie, Pennsylvania. Last on the floor for the Buckeyes. Maybe the best is yet to come. Rebecca Best.
And this might just be frosting. It might be gravy. But nonetheless, Rebecca Best needs to hit to assure the Buckeyes come out of here with a win.
Three-time New Jersey state champ. The 07 Junior National Olympic champ in the all-around.
And this kid can tumble. We're going to see a big first pass. We haven't seen this yet tonight from the women. Full in, back out, perfect. And one of the things Carrie Fagan has brought to Ohio State that has been so critical is recruiting. And we talked about it earlier. Rebecca is the junior national champion last year, which kind of means she was the top recruit. And she came to Ohio State. And that is something that is obviously so important, not just in gymnastics, but in all sports. And if Carrie can keep that up, watch out. The top of the Big Ten might have a Buckeye on it in no time.
Well, you've got to admire, John, Carrie Fagan's coaching philosophy. I mean, she likes to train the individual, not the team, and says each individual has needs, and her role as the coach to figure out what they are and then how to implement the best program.
And that really is true. You know, gymnastics, this is a team competition, but gymnastics really is an individual sport. There's nobody to pass the ball to. You know, you don't have an offensive line to block for a running back, anything like that. But so you do have to look for those individual characteristics and coach each athlete differently. 2.5 twists. This is a great routine. Quite the finish for Ohio State, putting the dagger in the Nittany Lions.
Says the best gymnastic tip she ever got, and she's only a freshman, to squeeze the glutamus maximus, the derriere.
Not a bad tip either. Let's take a look at this first pass. 2 flips with a full twist. Styling it out, too. Kicking out, looking for the landing. Let's look at the last pass. 2.5 twists. A little formy in the air. Probably had a 10th off on the execution, but I think that could be it. That could be enough.
A name to follow all the way to Ann Arbor, Rebecca Best. Into the record books. What a come-from-behind win for Carrie Fagan and her Buckeyes. Carrie, in just her 4th year, she was a 3-year letterman at Penn State and captain for the Nittany Lions, but the Buckeyes win big. When we come back, Ohio State on the parallel bars led by Jake Bateman, and for the Nittany Lions, Matt Greenfield and company on the high bar. A reminder, fans, more terrific women's gymnastics action here on the Big Ten Network. Mark it down on March 27th, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock in the Midwest. Penn State at home at State College, and another quad meet. We've got a good one going on here at the St. John Arena, the campus of Ohio State University in Columbus, and we turn our attention now to the final 2 rotations for the men. Starting rotation number 5 for the Penn State Nittany Lions, Nick Verbitsky. This is simply his favorite event, the high bar.
And let the excitement begin. Buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. Hide the children, because this is exciting. This is flat out scary at times. You're going to see some big releases, and Nick is going to show us a couple right here early. Look at this. Double back over the bar coming right here. It's called the Kovacs. 1, 2. Let's go. A little trouble on the catch. He has an extra swing there, but man, oh man, that is as tough and as scary as it gets in the sport of gymnastics. It's critical on high bar that anytime you finish a pirouetting skill or a turning skill, that you hit the handstand, and the judges will eat you alive if you're flat. If you're not finishing skills in a handstand, you are going to get hammered. Full twist and double layout. Good start for Nick. He had some execution errors in there, had some trouble in the catch of that Kovac, but similar to Pommel Horse, just hit. Just stay on, and you're going to score. Take another look at the big release. It's called the Kovacs. Let's Go does 1, 2, and catches the bar. And I'll tell you what, there is a sight in gymnastics that is so good, and that's when you see that bar and you can put your hands on it. But the scariest sight is when you see that bar and it is coming towards your face, and that's what's scary about the Kovacs on high bar.
Out of Tel Aviv, Shahar Tall now on the parallel bars for the Buckeyes.
And now we're going to see a little bit more difficulty added. Each routine that goes by, you're going to see some more skills, taking a little bit more risk, but hoping for that big reward. Difficult skill right here. That's called a tippelt. And you cannot let the legs hit the bars like that. That is going to be a major, major break. Small break there as well. Front 1.25, and that's why those pads are on the bar. Or on his arms, rather.
Is this a good event, John, for risk reward?
You know, there are plenty of opportunities to take risks on parallel bars, and there's a lot of different skills and a lot of different directions you can go. So, yes, there is a lot of there's a lot of opportunity, but again, a lot of opportunity for mistakes too.
The international business major on the P-bars.
And there's the tippelt. His hands need to get on the bars a little earlier so his legs don't hit it. And here are the pads on his arms. That's why they're there. He's coming down from about 5 feet and landing on his biceps on a hard wooden rail. Not a pleasant feeling, Jim.
This young man was, well, simply outstanding as a freshman last year. This is also Matt Greenfield's favorite event, the high bar, out of the Shipley School in Villanova, Pennsylvania.
And Matt has a unique sequence in here. He does a skill called the Takamoto, and we'll see it shortly. That is worth a lot of points, named after a famous Japanese gymnast. Coming up right here. Right there, full turn. He does it again, this time with a half turn. Worth a lot of points. And here's a release. It's a Ginger. Beautiful. So far, a very good routine. Some small form breaks in his feet. But if he can hit this dismount, scores are going to build for Penn State. Nice routine. Want to stick that landing, but all in all, a great start. Fantastic start for the Nittany Lions.
What do you think they talk about at the family dinner? His brother Aaron played baseball at Penn State. Another brother, Jason, baseball at the University of Pennsylvania. And their dad, Albert, football and baseball, also for Penn.
Here's another look at the Takamoto. I think they talk about Gopher Athletics, if I'm going to throw that out there. Here's the half talk, and I think eventually he's going to connect that to the release that followed, which is a flyaway with a half right there.
The kinesiology major out of Villanova, Matt Greenfield. How tough is it, John, for a freshman on the parallel bars? I mean, is it a big step up?
From being a junior gymnast to the collegiate level, it is, because you really got to pack your routine with difficulty. And actually, Brandon's going to do a skill, rather, that we have not seen yet tonight. It's called the bell. It's a giant double back. And if you saw him earlier, had a lot of chalk on his arms, and here's why. Right here, double back. Done very, very well. Very clean routine. P-bars has become one of those events that it's kind of like going into a boxing ring. You kind of just beat yourself up on the bars, hope to stay on. Just like that. Great job from Brandon. Very, very good routine.
Brandon Wynn, the freshman out of Voorhees, New Jersey, who started gymnastics at the age of 7. Here's what John was talking about.
It's a giant to a double back called a bell. Done well. He should open up a little bit more to the straight body position before his arms hit, but that was not too bad. Here's a double pike, extremely high. A little too high, maybe. He had a huge step on that landing, but nice work from the freshman.
Next up, Tommy Ramos on the high bar for Randy Jepson and the Nittany Lions.
And, you know, we talk about taking risks and being a little bit conservative. I guess you could call this a more conservative routine. He's got a lot of intricate hand work, a lot of turning skills. That right there is called the Yamawaki, named after the same gymnast that did the double front on the rings earlier this evening.
Again, this is the young man who Randy Jepson said has the unparalleled strength. He's returning All-America on the high bar.
And Randy's got quite a diverse team. 5 countries are represented on the Penn State Nittany Lions team: Mexico, Puerto Rico, Canada, Israel, and of course the United States. And there's that double-double again, and he looks shocked, because I know that does not happen to Tommy very often, if ever. And it was a beautiful dismount too, and a very good routine. Unfortunate problems on that. Here's the early release move, and you can see the hands, and it's so important. You get that dowel. There's a dowel in that grip, and you have to get that around the bar. Otherwise, you're going to have a very difficult time holding on. Take another look at this double twisting double back. A lot going on here. 2 flips, 2 twists. Spots the landing, just pikes down a little bit too hard, and he looks shocked, and so does the coach. That does not happen to Tommy Ramos.
Justin Myers, the sophomore from Hinckley, Ohio, Highland High School, under his coach there, Greg Gannon. Quite an athlete. Mr. Myers played third base on his high school baseball team, also was a catcher.
And he's looking for a home run right here. They are building some scores. Small break there. Not going to kill him. Oh, but that is a catastrophe right there. You could see his arm buckle right as he swung through the bottom on that support swing. Look at this right here. Look at his left elbow. Actually, his right elbow. I apologize. And right there is just the most helpless feeling as he comes crashing down. Now, important to finish well. Again, only 5 guys on this apparatus for Ohio State, so every 10th counts. Even if with that mistake, he's got to get back. A little bit of a mistake there, but he's got to finish strong.
Trying to play through the pain after smacking that left shoulder.
I guarantee tomorrow morning he'll feel it a lot more than he feels it right now. And there's the double pike again, and a good dismount. Not what he wanted, but way to get back up, way to finish strong, way to not give anything away on that last landing.
A game effort for Justin Myers, who really hammered that left shoulder.
Here's another look at the dismount. This is how it's supposed to be done. Perfect form in the air, opens up, boom, like a lawn dart coming in.
About 2,000 miles away as the jet flies from Tommy Ramos's home in Puerto Rico to Casey Sandy's home in Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Last up for the Nittany Lions, the 23-year-old junior Casey Sandy.
And one check, I made a reference to the team score earlier. It's not quite as close as I indicated, but I still say it's going to come down to this last rotation. Any one of these teams can win, but Penn State does have a little bit more of a lead, almost a 4-point lead at this point, but anything can happen. It's far from over. Again, a little bit more of a conservative routine. We don't see the Kovacs like we saw from some of his teammates, but he's doing a clean routine. And after you have some mistakes, it is so important to have clean routines and have hits. Nice double layout. That is a conservative routine for sure, but hit clean.
Casey, who had a career high on the bar, 9.350 against Illinois a year ago.
Take a look at the beginning of the routine. A conservative release move, but I tell you what, when you get up on high bar, being a little conservative is not the worst thing in the world. Slight deduction on the giant out of that. Another look at this double layout. Playing it a little bit safe tonight. Looks like he had a little grimace on his face. I don't know if he feels a little banged up, a little sore maybe possibly on those landings, but you know, he's the leader and he's got some big fights ahead of him, so they don't want to take any risks here at this competition.
Batting cleanup for the Buckeyes on the parallel bars. Rotation number 5, Jake Bateman.
And you know what? After 4 events, this is a dogfight. So far, looking at these routines, each team has had some mistakes on these 2 events. I think it is going to come right down to the end, and it's going to come down on the shoulders of guys like this guy right here, Jake Bateman, the leaders of both of these teams. And there's the bell again. Giant double back. Beautiful Diamondov in a quarter. This kid has really come a long way since he was a junior gymnast. This is what the doctor ordered. This is going to be a big score. He's got to stick the landing. Unbelievable gutty performance from Jake Bateman. Puts the exclamation point on parallel bars for Ohio State, and they are going to be in there. This is going to be a battle right to the last routine. On paper, Penn State is by far the better team, but you don't compete on paper. That's why we're here, and that's why they're performing, and it is going to be an exciting, exciting finish.
Voted one of the 3 captains by his teammates, the 06 Big Ten Freshman of the Year, Jake Bateman.
And there's the giant double back again. He does that very, very well. Again, you really want to open before you hit the bars, but that at most will be a small deduction. Here's the double pike. Boom! And you can see the damage that giant double back does to his arms. You can see the blood, but he doesn't care right now. Great routine.
Miles Avery loved it there. He's had 1 NCAA championship and 5 Big Ten titles here at Columbus. And so after 5 men's rotations, Penn State showing exactly why they're ranked number 2 in the country. When we come back. Welcome back to Big Ten Gymnastics. Been a pretty good night for the 22-year-old senior out of Sharon, Massachusetts, and North Miami Beach, Florida, Ladley Klurman.
So far, very clean. That's the Tapelt. We saw that earlier. He did it with the legs together. Not quite as difficult as the straddle that we saw from Ohio State. There's the front one in the quarter, the bicep buster. Done well. This is an outstanding start for the Nittany Lions.
Randy Jepson says this being his last year, he wants to go out with a bang, pointing toward that Big Ten championship at his home campus back at State College on the 4th and the 5th of April, which you'll see here on the Big Ten Network.
That was a very good routine, a very clean routine. And this is why he's up first, because he's consistent and he hits, and ow. I don't care how good you do it, that still hurts the next morning for sure. This is the most common dismount being done, a double pike. Done well, a couple little steps on the landing, but very good start.
The junior who wants to go into health information management systems upon graduation, Eddie Hay, next up for the Buckeyes.
And Ohio State has got a sizable deficit that they need to overcome in this rotation. And they've got to be perfect from here on out. They have 4 routines left. They want to count these 4 scores, and they need some help from Penn State. Major break again. It seems like right on cue when I say how critical a routine is, we see a major break. I'm just going to be quiet from now on.
Well, when we started the meet, Penn State was having trouble on the horse. Buckeyes are having trouble finishing up on the high ball.
Yeah, they are. They're really struggling here at the end. And I know this is not the spot Ohio State is used to being in. They're used to being the team with the big lead. But I guarantee you they will not sleep on this. They are going to be battling back, and I would not count them out when we get to conference title time. Difficult finish for Eddie Hay. Here's another look at the dismount. Big tap, full twisting double layout. Really working that, digging the toes in. Overtime for the toes. Has a little movement in the foot, but not a bad dismount.
5'10", outstanding in the all-around, Jason Chu. Up next.
5'10" is unusual for a gymnast. That's right at the top side of the height you will usually see.
He could play point guard for Ed DeChellis there for the Hoopsters.
And that's a new skill we have not seen tonight. Double front in between the bars. Not quite as punishing as the front 1 1/4 we saw to the biceps earlier, but a very nice skill. This is a unique routine and a nice routine. A little short in that dismount, but I like it. I like it. Doing some different skills that you don't see every day, being a little bit unique. He will be rewarded for that.
Randy Jepson just hoping that Jason Pugh can get healthy so he can train. So, as Randy says, he can compete really at the highest level.
Here's his dismount once again. You can see his feet come apart a little bit at the end of that, as though he knew he was going to be a little bit short, trying to rotate a little further. Another look at the double front. Opens up, very smooth swing, and that's something the judges are looking for. You got to come out of those big tricks smooth. Nice job from Jason.
Let's see if David Ortiz can pick up some of the slack now for Ohio State.
And he does a lot of really unique turning skills. Right there, you don't see that too often. That's called a no-no. Nice sculptor full. Comes a release move. That's a reverse hack.
Been getting better on this apparatus. Notched a season high 14.75 against California in the middle of February. Beating his old mark by 2 points.
Got a unique dismount. He goes over the bar, double front with a half twist. Hey, that's exactly what they needed. They needed a hit routine. To win this meet is probably out of reach, but you want to go out on a positive note. 3 hit routines will be a good feeling for them to have as they walk away from St. John's this afternoon.
The senior out of Cincinnati who wants to go to med school after he graduates.
This is the unique sequence we talked about earlier. Full turn from an L grip position, that's called. Don't see that too often, and it's because it is a very difficult combination. Here's the dismount. It's a double front over the bar with a half turn. You are coming down a long ways on that, and it is a punishing landing, but also a landing that's fairly easy to stay on your feet.
For the man that says his biggest thrill in the sport, watching Paul Hamm win the world and the Olympic all-around. Let's see if the captain can bring it home here, Pard. Santiago Lopez next up.
Santiago's got some unique skills as well. This is a peach to handstand, and this one right here goes to one. Oh, change the routine a little bit. Oh, and there's a major break, and that is what Ohio State needs if they have any hope. They need to have some mistakes from Penn State, and they need to capitalize on them, being the Buckeyes, that is. Good dismount, but that extra swing that we saw earlier, that is going to be a major, major deduction. They do have a nice cushion to work with, but they can't give Ohio State too many opportunities. They would love to take advantage of it. Take another look at the dismount right here. And that is a beautiful double pike. He's very open in the air. Nice pike position. The only thing he needs to do is stick the landing.
Knows he missed it. For the Buckeyes, the sophomore Justin Myers now on the high bar.
And this is another one of those high-flying routines. So we're going to see another one of those Kovacs and a big, big dismount. Hold on, folks. This is a good one.
Come on.
Whoa, just barely got his hand back on that bar. He was a little crooked on that turn. Here comes the big release. This is a Kovac.
Get it early, get it early.
Oh, yeah, there he goes. A little close to the bar. Had a tough time getting that giant out of it, but anytime you got the bar in your hand, it's a good thing.
Come on.
All right, right, buckle up. It's the only time tonight you're going to see this. There's 3 flips. 1, 2, 3. And that's what I like to see. Yeah, baby.
There are 2 things Justin Myers, this outstanding sophomore for Ohio State, likes to do: landing his triple and hitting his high bar set. Watch the right hand now.
This is the early sequence where he was a little bit crooked. Couldn't quite see it right there, but he was barely able to get that hand back on the bar. Here's the release move. It's going to disappear from the picture. And there he is. Good look at that. Tremendous height over the bar. If you don't think gymnastics is a contact sport, try hitting that bar a few times. You might change your opinion. And here's the triple back. 1, 2, and 3. Nice job. Good finish for Justin Myers.
For Penn State, Randy Jepson pretty honest. He said the talent's there. Depth is the question on the P-bars for us. Here is the senior, the 5'4" man from Lake Highland High School in Orlando, Derek Helsby.
It sounds to me like Randy Jepson's gotten rid of all possible excuses he could have. He's talked about how this is the best team they've ever had. They've got the depth top to bottom. They're the defending NCAA champions. I mean, I don't see any reason why they can't do it again. I guess it just comes down to that coaching, right, Randy? There's that bell again, giant double back. And he is working hard. Derek is working hard on this routine, and it's a good one. A few little choppy spots, which will be a small deduction. Double pike. Small hop and a good finish for Derek. He's had a couple hurdles during the competition, but that is the last thing you want to do in a meet, is have a good feeling as you walk away.
Some of that experience for the senior, finishing up strong.
And here's another look at that giant double back. Man, is that violent. Those arms are coming in. And that's a tough, tough skill. Not only execution-wise, but tolerate that punishment every day. And there's the double pike.
Pointed to his 22nd birthday, just 6 days away. The 06 Big Ten Freshman of the Year, Jake Bateman, finishing up on the bar for the Buckeyes.
And I talked to Jake a little bit before the competition, and he's a class act all the way around. He's a great student. I talked about what his future holds, and he wants to go to dental school. He hasn't decided how much he's going to keep training after his senior year. And I'm like, Jake, man, come on. What about the next Olympic Games? And, you know, he's got a lot of goals, and he's really proud of what he's done. He hasn't quite made a decision on what possibly could happen in 2012. But I kind of hope he sticks around. I think he's got a lot of gymnastics left in him.
Planning on being an oral surgeon.
Here's a nice combination right here. Chikachev to Genger. That's the first time tonight that we've seen 2 releases in succession. Extremely difficult. Got to be right on to make that happen. Nice job by Jake. Big step on the landing, which is not what he wants to do on the end of that routine, but he's got a lot going on, and that was a nice finish for the junior. Great leader for this Ohio State team.
Check the papers on Monday morning, see how his cousin does. Brian Bateman's a pro golfer.
Take a look at these release moves again. Straddle to Tkachev, and it's so important to catch that in the right position so you can do this. Fly away with a half turn called the Genger. Done well. You can see his heels just clearing the bar on that one. And this is a great view of what the gymnast has to deal with. Making sure they get those hands around the bar. Here we go with the next release sequence. Let's go. Grabs once. Let's go again. And grabs for the final time.
The Big Ten Gymnast of the Week, January 30th and February 6th. The first Buckeye to do it back-to-back since Randy Monahan back in 04. Well, fans, Penn State got off to a slow, shaky start on the pommel horse after the first rotation, but the Nittany Lions came roaring back. When we come back, we'll hear from our all-around winners and wrap up this outstanding quad meet from Columbus. Back with the final results, our heroes and winners. And how about that super sophomore Hillary Dow, back from that nagging ankle injury as a freshman, huh?
And she does it, not the most difficult vault, but a very clean execution.
Co-winners on the vault for Penn State. Brandy, she excelled.
And she comes off that table like a rocket. Amazing.
The team captain, her leadership role very evident here. Kaylin, great job tonight.
And she sticks it every time, just like clockwork.
The 19-year-old sophomore stepped it up.
And she has been an anchor for Penn State all season on this event and showing again why.
On the floor, Malika Moore-Thomas, the senior out of Tampa. She wants to go to law school. Tonight, she's guilty of winning the floor. And the all-round with the winner, here's John again.
Hillary, first of all, congratulations. It has been since 1999 since Ohio State has beat Penn State. That's got to be special.
It definitely is. You know, we wanted to come in here and, you know, beat a Big Ten rivalry and, you know, hit 24 for 24. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. But it's great to, you know, do and just improve upon each week. So.
And in the all-around, congratulations, you won the all-around. You know, a lot of people talk about Rebecca Best, your teammate. How does it feel to be on the top of that podium and beating all these good, there's a lot of good all-arounders here.
It definitely feels great. You know, I come into each meet just, you know, concentrating on each event and just go each event at a time. So to go 4 for 4 and hit each one feels amazing.
Well, that is awesome. Now, what about the future? Carrie Fagan has brought this team a long way in the last couple of years. You have 2 more years left after this, plus a little bit of a season left to go. What's the outlook for Ohio State?
Well, you know, we have some really big goals that we're working towards. You know, one of our goals is to go to nationals. So we're striving each week to improve upon that and, you know, just improve every week and just keep hitting. So.
Well, congratulations and good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, John, for the men, Penn State, they're like that car company, #2 and trying harder, and shooting for Stanford, currently ranked #1, but a big win against the Buckeyes. And for Ohio State, how about Eddie Hay on the floor?
And he continues his dominance on this event. He has been amazing all season and shows us why today.
Slow start on the pommel horse for the Nittany Lions, but OSU's Andy Stauber, he excelled.
Hey, consistency paid off today, and Andy did just that. He hit his routine, and it was enough to win.
On the rings, Penn State's Tommy Ramos, outstanding.
Coming back from injury, this guy is going to be a force to be reckoned with the rest of the season. Watch out.
Klerman for the Nittany Lions, good effort in the vault. Watch the acceleration, liftoff.
1 run, 3 flips, amazing. Outstanding gymnastics.
The parallel bars, the Buckeyes, Jake Bateman.
And this kid has really stepped up as a leader. A lot of fun to watch today, and really, if Ohio State's going anywhere, it's going to be because of this guy.
And for the Nittany Lions, he's their anchor, their money performer from north of the border. Casey Sandy, the Canadian, excelled. Also, Casey, he was the winner of the all-around as Penn State won going away. With the winner, here's John.
Casey Sandy, first of all, congratulations on winning the all-around, but I know this isn't exactly the competition Penn State was hoping to have. Where do you assess your team at this point of the season?
I think it's coming along okay. This is not anywhere near where we're supposed to be right now, but we're still got to train hard, and the B-panel judging is killing us right now, so we got to improve on our execution and stuff.
You know, you guys won the NCAA championship last year, obviously. Is anything less than an NCAA championship acceptable to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we just got to keep working hard. I mean, there's a lot of good teams out there, especially from Stanford, so we just got to keep consistent and do the job.
You come from a pretty proud background, international athlete and all-around finalist at the World Championships. What is it like to be here competing collegiately in the U.S., given what you've done internationally?
Well, yeah, it's great to have the experience from international competition, but college competition is a lot different. It's really fun to do. I really enjoy it. I just looking forward to nationals this year. Actually.
Well, congratulations and good luck the rest of the season. Thanks,
John.
All right, Karnak, my partner, what did we learn?
Well, we got 4 very good teams that still have some kinks to get out, but I guarantee you come championship time, all 4 of them will be in the mix.
The women's Big Ten championships, you'll see it here from Ann Arbor. The men, John will be there. Hope you'll be there too. 2 days live from Penn State. For John Roethlisberger and all our Big Ten Network gymnastics crew here, we'll say with pride, goodbye, Columbus.